Hi, I'm Lee.
I'm Mandy.
We're the Frugal Travellers.
And today's video is about something that's very important in this modern age of travel. It's about our top apps.
Yeah, we use these apps all the time. They are a lifesaver for us. We've been travelling for some years now, and these are our best ones, aren't they?
Yeah. We've been travelling for over 6 years actually, and these are the apps that we've found we use all the time.
Yeah, not only do they make life a lot easier for us, but they save us a lot of money. So we really want to share it with you guys and tell you what our best apps are. So the first app we want to talk about is xe.com, the currency converter.
This one's absolutely brilliant. Like in the past, you used to turn up at a border crossing and try to work out how much you had to change and how much they were going to charge you, and have been ripped off a few times. This is back like in 1997.
Yeah, from one strange currency into another. It's really quite difficult. This takes the brain work out of it.
And so you put in, for example, $10 US, if that's what you've got to change, and it'll bring it up in Bolivianos or in Romanian lei.
Argentinian pesos, etc., etc. Yeah, it's handy when you're new to a country and you're not quite sure, and you're walking around a supermarket or a shop and you can just quickly put in that currency and it gives it you and yours. You know how much you're spending, and that is very, very important.
Now the second app is an unbelievable lifesaver for me, at least, because I'm an inveterate bookworm. I love reading, and this app is Libby. It's from Overdrive, and basically it gives you access to the ebooks in your library, your local library. So we belong to a library in New Zealand. We're allowed 35 books at a time and 40 books on hold. And so we don't even buy guidebooks anymore because you can get the guidebooks out from the library.
Yeah, you can take the books out for 28 days at a time, I believe. So in the old days, you'd be carrying your guidebook and a load of reading books around with you in your backpack, weighing you down. Now you just go on your phone and you've got all these books available for free. It's the best thing ever, isn't it?
I think so, definitely. Yeah. So the next app we're going to talk about is Wise, formerly known as TransferWise. This is an absolutely brilliant app for banking. So what happens is you can set up like as many accounts as you want in like the 50 different countries. So for example, my main one is from the UK. So I'll transfer money from my UK bank account to my Wise UK account. And then from there, I can transfer it into, say, Australian dollars, American dollars. The other day, Romanian lei, when we booked our flight from Bucharest to Abu Dhabi, because it ended up saving £10 just by doing that, setting up a Romanian lei account.
Yeah, it's brilliant. The exchange rates are really good, and the fee for transactions is minimal, isn't it?
It is. You're allowed to withdraw £200 per month from an ATM, free of charge. If you go over that, they've just changed it, it's 1%. Like on top of anything over £200 per month. So that's quite reasonable. That's still way better value than like going to a money exchange or like in the old days, traveller's checks.
Yeah, and it's safe as well. Rather than like using your normal banking card to buy things online, to make online purchases or to book flights and things like that, you can use this card, transfer some money across, use that, and then if it gets compromised, it's no big deal because all your money isn't in there.
Exactly, that's a very good point. It takes a day to transfer funds over though, so just keep that in mind, you know what I mean? Like try to do it a day in advance. But Wise, yes, absolutely brilliant, game changer.
The next app we're going to talk about is one of our favourite accommodation booking apps, and that's booking.com. You've probably heard of it, they're very big. In fact, they're all over the world. So wherever you want to go, you can search on booking.com and you will find lots and lots of accommodation choices. And the good thing about booking.com is you put in the place where you're going, how long you're going to spend there, how many people, you search, and then you can refine your search by in order of cheapest first. So the cheapest accommodation in the whole city you're looking for is going to come up at the top. That's really important.
Yeah, just remember though, always read the reviews, because the cheapest doesn't mean
the best.
Yeah, definitely not.
You want the best value. You want a place that's in a good location, but is a good price.
Because you've mentioned that before on a previous video.
Yeah.
When we were booking accommodation in Portugal.
Yeah.
The link up above. And in that video, Lee said not only was it important to find like the cheapest price, but also like a really good location. And so you can use the map function on booking.com to see exactly how central it is to the city.
What I use booking.com for a lot is research to find out the average price of places where we're traveling to. I looked recently at Kuwait because we're going to Kuwait. 1 week in Kuwait, searched down, and it came to the cheapest one in town was about $195 US. Then I searched for 1 week in Bangkok. For example, cheapest place there for a week was $49 US, a quarter of the price. So it's a good way to just gauge like somewhere you're going to go, how much accommodation costs are going to be, and you can adjust your budget accordingly.
Okay, now the next step is Google Translate. I mean, we know that Google Translate isn't perfect. When we were in China, oh my word, it was very
Didn't come up
flowery.
perfect.
Yeah, not so good.
But they're working on it, and it's getting better and better all the time.
Yes, and so like it not only has a function where you can type in a word, but also the camera function. Now this is one of the things that made us realize how incredibly useful it was when my family came over to Portugal and we showed Gaza the Google Translate app with the camera. How he could hold it up to something in the supermarket and it would translate
Yeah,
like
that
then and
absolutely
there.
blew his mind. Yeah. It's such a useful tool to have.
Yeah.
You can talk into it and have a conversation one-on-one, and it will translate. You can do text. It really is brilliant. I love it. And when I'm studying as well, I'm referring to it all the time.
So that brings us up to the next app, which is Duolingo.
Yes, talking about language study, I mean, when you travel, it's good to know a few words of anywhere you go in, and we travel slowly, so we like to learn as much of the language as possible. Duolingo is free, Duolingo is fun. You can sign up, and there's dozens and dozens of different languages to learn on there. You can start from an absolute beginner, work your way through it, learn a few words, learn the alphabet. We're doing it in Arabic at the moment, aren't we? There's a challenge.
For our travels in the Middle East, yeah, it is quite a challenge. But in the past, Lee's studied Polish from it and Romanian, Turkish as well.
Yeah, we've been in Portugal for 2 years, and in these 2 years, I've gone from the beginner level all the way up to what's level 6, the legendary level, and completed it. And it has helped my Portuguese go from very basic beginners to conversational. I'm really happy with it. A great tool. The next app we want to talk about is a great way to find your way around anywhere you're going, and that is maps.me.
Yeah, we discovered this in Nepal in 2017 actually, because in those days Google Maps wasn't able to be used offline. You had to be online, and we didn't have much data then. But maps.me, you go in, you choose the area of a country that has a map. I mean, certain countries, if they're small, there'll only be one map for the entire country anyway. So you download that.
Yeah, and once you downloaded it, it doesn't matter if you haven't got data anywhere, you're never going to get lost. You can see exactly where you are, you can see where you want to go. Everywhere seems to be marked on there, like restaurants and places of interest. You can search for sites or even the toilet.
But do be careful though, because it's not 100% accurate, because the users actually put in the locations. So
there might be a restaurant that doesn't exist anymore, or something like that, a hotel that's long gone. But generally speaking, it's a great way to find your way around, and you can go onto it, you can look at put in a destination where you want to go to. You can find out how long it's going to take to get there, whether you're walking or by car or by bicycle. It's a really good way. You're never going to get lost, and you're going to find your way around really well.
Now the next app is called Pocket. This is absolutely brilliant, and it's one that another traveller told us about. And you can go in when you're looking at something on, let's say, Chrome or whatever search engine you use, and you go in, you open it up, and you can save it to Pocket to use offline, which is, I don't know, it's absolutely brilliant.
If you're frugal budget travellers like us and you don't have data everywhere you go, you tend to rely on using the Wi-Fi when you're in the hotel, get all the information you want, stick it into Pocket, and then when you're out and about with no data, you've got access to all of those sites that might be guides to the places you're visiting. It's a really, really useful tool for travelling. I like it.
So the next category, because it's like more than one app, is flight search apps. And there's a few that we use. We use Skyscanner, we use Kayak, and we also use Google Flights, like when you go and search through Google. Yeah,
online. I don't think Google Flights has an app, does it? Or you just do it on the computer. They're comparison sites, so you put in where you want to go. It'll bring up all the different airlines who are flying into that region. Mostly, sometimes they don't always show the best ones, so it's worth checking over a few different apps to compare the comparison apps, because sometimes you find a better flight, don't you?
Yes, because we have found that a few times, haven't we? We've looked, we've known that there is a certain budget airline flying to a region, but it won't be on any of the comparison sites.
Also, beware with some of the comparison sites. I think if you've searched for quite a few times, they put cookies on your computer, they know you're searching, so the price starts to rise because they know you're interested in it. And the way to get around that is by setting a VPN to show that you're in a different location. And that brings us up to our next favourite app.
Yeah, and that's NordVPN. There are a couple of different VPNs that you can pay for. I've heard of ExpressVPN, but we've always used Nord, and it's done us proud.
I think this is the one app, actually. All the apps we spoke about so far are free. the app's free, but you pay for NordVPN. But once you've got it, you can set your location to anywhere you want to be in the world. That's good for security, and it's also good for accessing things that are normally geocached. Things like Netflix in a different region or something like that. You can set it to the region you want to watch programs in. Or I like to watch the football and it doesn't always get shown in some countries, so I set my VPN to another country where I know they're going to show it and I can live stream my matches.
Something I've heard of actually from other travelers is that if you set your VPN when you're searching for flights, it's amazing how the price can be different. Like and I think we've had a few of our viewers actually write that in the comments as well on some of our videos, where like they're in the UK but they set their VPN for, I think it was Germany, to look for a flight elsewhere, and it was a lot cheaper because they're booking it from, like, I don't know, through a German website. So yeah, that's an option as well. Okay, now really important with NordVPN, they always have specials, so don't pay full price. I think full price is like $99 a year or something. The last time we renewed, I think we paid $80 for 2 years, and they gave us like a month free as well.
Another thing about a VPN is in some countries you can actually get access to certain websites. We were in China, for example, Vietnam, Iran. Some countries you're limited, so if you set your VPN, you can then access the social media sites that you wouldn't be able to normally. Other apps I'd like to talk about are apps that belong to the budget airlines. In Europe, we've signed up for the Ryanair one and the Wizz Air one, and they're both really cheap flights. They do special offers every now and again, and it pops up on the app, you know, and it's a sale for a day for 25% off or something like that. So it's worth keeping your eye on things like that, because all of a sudden a great deal comes up, bang, you're in there booking yourself a nice cheap flight, cheaper than it is cheap anyway, you know. Yeah, there's also, like in Australia, you've got Jetstar and there's AirAsia as well. A lot of different ones worth putting on your phone, keeping your eye out.
Oh, we use Scoot a lot. That's the Singapore Airlines budget carrier. We flew them once from Sydney to Athens for something like 360 Aussie dollars, or it was
ridiculously
incredibly cheap.
Yeah. Budget airlines, we love you. Talking about travel, the next thing we want to talk about is getting around towns using taxi apps. There's some great taxi apps that probably you've heard of. What are the main ones, Mandy?
Well, Uber, I think, is the number one.
Yeah, and Bolt. In Europe, they're the ones that are regular. In Iran, we used Snap, and I think they're throughout the Middle East. Also, Kareem in the Middle East. We're going to be traveling there soon, and we've heard that's a good one to use as well. Yeah. With these taxi apps, you download the app, you can call up a taxi from wherever you are, you can find out exactly how much it's going to cost you. So it saves all the dramas of trying to haggle in a foreign language and being ripped off because you don't know what the real price is. It's security as well, because you can see who your taxi driver is, you can read reviews on other people that have travelled with them, so it's a safe and cheap way to get around, isn't it?
Not that we take many taxis, but yeah, in the past, when we have, we'd always do it through one of these apps.
Certain countries, it's that cheap, it's like there's no need to walk 10 kilometres anymore when you can jump in a taxi for $1 or $2.
Iran.
They're a great thing, yeah.
So another great app that I really liked for Europe was Move It. This is like a bus app, and you do need data to be on it or Wi-Fi, but it shows your bus destination like in real time. You know what I mean? So it'll show you exactly where you get the bus, what bus number it is, the bus stop, and like how long it'll take to get there and where the bus is like as it's driving along. So that was just unbelievable. It's fantastic. Talking
about transport, Omeo is another app that is, I think it compares all sorts of transport like the flight comparison apps, but it also includes buses, taxis or rideshare and things like that. So it gives you your best option of what form of travel you want to use to get from one place to another, and which is either the cheapest or the most convenient.
Now, our friends, the Restless Ramblers on Instagram, they swear by Rome to Rio, that app. They use it all the time. We've used it a few times, like never the app, but mainly just like searching for on Google. But that's their number one like transport app to find out the cheapest way to get somewhere within a country, because it'll tell you like the buses, the trains, etc. So that's another one to keep an eye out for.
Yeah. It's always worth doing a little bit of research in advance though when you're traveling, because often if you book a bit in advance, you get cheaper travel anyway. And also these comparison apps, they don't always show you everything. So delve in a bit deeper and you might find a better bargain.
So like a bonus app, it's one that I use that Lee never does. It's Rakuten Wiki. I may have pronounced it wrong, but it's a free app that has Korean dramas. Okay, it's got dramas as well from like, China and
That's why I don't
other
use
countries.
it. Korean dramas. That's it's Mandy's.
Oh, yes. Because we used to actually have Netflix, but we cancelled it about 6 months ago. This is a way I can still get my K-dramas without having to pay a subscription. And yeah, it's so wonderful.
If you know any other apps that give you good things like that for free television, then yeah, it'd be good to hear about them as well. So that covers the main apps that we use for traveling, and they all are really good. They help us a lot, but it's obviously not all of them that are out there. There's so many. If you know any other good apps that are useful, please write it in the comments below, because we'd love to hear about it and we'd love to save some money. And the other people that watch this, our Frugal community, they'd love to hear about it too. So please share it with us.
So thank you so much for joining us today.
Yep, it's been an absolute pleasure. We'll see you on the road sometime where we'll be saving more money.
Until the next one, bye for
Bye.
now.